Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. I don't know if I've been saying that. I don't know if it matters. My hair's getting crazy because it's staticky in this room. And we are on to part 4. And I promise this is it. There's a lot. And I really never thought about it, but I knew it would get, like I mentioned, I think in part 2, as my memories get better and as an adult brain that retain things, and not to mention 3 in a row, 2-term presidents, Clinton, Bush, and Obama. So I'm on to Obama now. Obama, like I said, was a very electric president, in my opinion. Quite possibly the most articulate and well-spoken president in history, and definitely, in my opinion, in my time. Especially when you compare him to Trump, you had like this. I mean, this Harvard-educated, just articulate man, very intelligent and very driven. When you know about his background, of course, whether he was born here or not, I believe he was born here. And if he wasn't, I don't really care. I'm one of those few people that thinks, why? Hey, we outsource stuff all the time. Maybe we should outsource the presidency. Maybe there's an Indian we could outsource the presidency to, and he would do a better job. Who knows? But I think the Obama years were a lot of turmoil, man. I mean, so he took office in January of 2009, went till January of 2017, and a lot of people were very, very upset when he first got elected. I remember there were people like swarming the like local courthouses or whatever in their towns. They showed people in Iowa shoving and pushing like the Democrat. It was a little Democratic like office, and people were losing their minds. And honestly, it's like, don't get this upset. It's Don't look at his color, and that's what they were looking at. Let's be honest. This whole socialism thing, honestly, I've said it before, and I'll say it right now. They wanted to call him a socialist. They really wanted to call him something else. Let's be honest. A certain 6-letter word that begins with the letter N. They were really unhappy that we had a black guy as president, because when you look at what he has said and you try to paint him as a socialist, outside of wanting like national health care and maybe some share the wealth programs, that's fair. But I heard hundreds of times through his presidency, he's coming for our guns. Prove it. Prove it. Where has he said that? Gun control, yes. Should we have assault weapons? I don't think so, and he didn't think so either. He tried to do things that, after horrific things like Sandy Hook and let's see, no, he wasn't there for Columbine, but some terrible, you can say this for any president, some terrible school shootings happened on his watch. But Sandy Hook was especially horrible because it was 6-year-olds, and he that was right in the middle of his watch. That was right after he won re-election. That happened in December of 2012. And the reason I remember that is, once again, fall back to comedy. Happened on December 14th, 2012. 12, 14, 12. And the reason I remember that is because I was going to see Louis C.K. The next night, and we were all like, "Oh no, he might not want to do a show," because this is one of the most horrific things to happen in our history. 26 children being killed, or 20 children being killed, and 6 adults. I remember the number was 26. It was awful. Some crazed teenager with an assault rifle went in and killed an entire classroom of first graders. And I don't even see how you can reconcile that in your brain and rationalize it and even picture it. A lot of people have theorized that it's a hoax. I sure haven't seen evidence to say it's a hoax. I think we are trying to keep it quiet because those parents have been through enough horror that they probably don't want to relive it too much. But did it lead to any real gun laws that had any teeth? Not in my opinion. If we're still seeing the effects, Kyle Rittenhouse, of AR-15s and AK-47s being in the hands of the public. I don't know. By the way, another little sidebar. I am fine with people owning handguns and hunting rifles and whatever, and even most guns I'm okay with. But here's my thing. Several years ago, we decided in this in our state that it was okay for your clip to only have 10 bullets in a handgun. And it went from 15 to 10. That was going to be the new law, and people freaked out. State representatives from Colorado Springs and Pueblo were recalled, and it was a big freak out. The local company, or wasn't local, the national company Magpul pulled out and took their factory to North Dakota, I believe. But like, yeah, okay, maybe your bullet production will go down, but if here's my argument as to why 10 should be enough. If you can't get the job done in 10, you're probably not going to get it done with 15. And if you can't get the job done with 10, you probably shouldn't own a handgun or a gun that has 10 or a clip with 10 rounds in it. You should be able to handle that. And by the way, who says you can't have another clip right there? Like, oh, I'm out of 10, boom, unload, pop it in, I got another 10. So that, I think the arguments for a 15 uh, or against a 10 are pretty weak. But anyway, that's a sidebar. And so, a lot of what happened with Obama was kind of sad. I mean, the Republicans dug their heels in when it came to uh, getting national health care. A public option, I think, would have been great. And that was just out of the question because, let's be honest, we know where the big money is. And we know that a public option would have taken big money out of the big pockets, out of the big insurance and healthcare companies. And that's what it came down to. And that's sad that the truth is that this country is a for-profit country, including on the backs of sick people. And it's a real bummer. One of our biggest cancer centers here is Philip Anschutz Cancer Center. That dude is a multi-billionaire from oil production. To his credit, he is at least dabbling in renewable energy. But of course, he can do that, and he should do that if he's a responsible human being. But he has a cancer center named after him. It's that he's going to make money on that, and that's really kind of awful. Anyway, so I got a few minutes to go on about Trump. I think Trump, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but I really think he is probably our worst president. Extremely divisive, bordering on inarticulate. I mean, I wouldn't call him articulate, that's for sure. Boorish, I would say. I just think the man is not a good person, and I think you at least need to be a decent person. Say what you want about Bush. He had some issues with alcohol. Outside of that, he didn't seem like that bad of a guy. Clinton, womanizer. Outside of that, not too bad. I mean, Clinton, honestly, you could probably make the argument that Clinton's the second worst out of the four recent presidents. Obama, squeaky clean from what I hear. Never heard about him cheating. The worst thing he did is smoke a cigarette a few times. Big deal. Trump's cheated on all three of his wives, and I don't want to try to get too much into personality, but it does. I think you got to find a good person to lead your country, or all is lost. It felt like just everyone's like, oh, if this guy can lead the country, we can all act like we want. It really felt like a lot of his supporters would support anything this man did. As for the economy, I'm going to say it's not bad. It wasn't as stagnant as it was under Bush. It didn't do what it did under Clinton. Obama was like this, and Trump, I felt kind of like this. I look at my personal investments; they're better off than they were 4 years ago. But having said that, I look at the divisions in this country that could have been avoided if he had been just a tad more open-minded to what people who are not white and are not straight are going through. And he didn't. He doesn't have an empathetic bone in his body, and that affects how he governs. And it's a bummer. It's like, I mean, I look at some of the things he said, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. What kind of president says that? He said, what he should say, or something reasonable to be said, would be, okay, well, these people obviously have some grievances. If they do things that are against the Constitution, like, obviously it's your constitutional right to peaceably assemble. If they start being unpeaceable, we should use our law forces to curb that and make sure that property is not destroyed. But that's not really what was going on that much. In Minnesota, it did get ugly after George Floyd. I'm not going to lie about that. But it wasn't happening everywhere. And when you're sending out secret police, like it happened in Portland and Seattle, the more liberal cities in this country, it shows what side he was on. And then in the debates with Joe Biden, you don't tell you don't tell I'm going to say it. It's a racist organization, in my opinion, the Proud Boys, who I dress like, to stand down and stand by. You don't tell them that. That's extremely irresponsible. And unfortunately, he is by far the most divisive president in my time and maybe ever. So there you have it. That's a lot. I appreciate you guys for watching. I know I got more opinionated as it went on, but here we are. Thanks for checking it out for 40 minutes. You guys are troopers. Talk to you next time. Bye.